So the goal of this lecture is to prove how every choice that you make is a pursuit for your happiness. What
Pursuit.
PDP means,
The pursuit for your happiness, not a persuade, but keep going.
in short form, it basically means PDP, and it's simply just a drive for you to pursue happiness. It's important for you to recognize that everything that you do, whether you want to fap, whether you want to buy a premium coffee, you want to buy Netflix, all of them are the pursuit of happiness. Sometimes you might even accidentally break your heart's friend, but your intention was to a pursuit for your happiness. And this happened just now, by the way. But I mean, just like him right now, him doing that is because he believes that it will make him more happier. So,
No,
for example, right,
I believe it'll make us more happy, but fuck it, we're not gonna talk about this right now, but keep going.
yeah, for example, right, you buy a premium, fuck that. Don't talk about that fucking example. Let's talk about why you would rather purchase Netflix when you could literally just go to cracked websites to go watch the movie. Why do you want to go Netflix? Simply because it's more premium and it looks fucking nicer. When the cracked website, they look like trash can. They have so much ads popping in front of your face and it's just a bunch of shit. So you spend the extra money for something that's actually free because you see a benefit. You feel like, yeah, this makes me more happier. So that's why you do it. You give me anything.
Of course, I always have everything for every slide. But just to add on, this is some really interesting insights. Like everything is for the pursuit of happiness. So you made me think to yourself, like, whoa, what about fapping? I don't want to fap. It makes me unhappy. You say all this bullshit, but dude, look back at the time you fap, not the aftermath after the fucking post nut clarity. Look at the time when you wanted to fap. You wanted to fap because you saw fapping as a happier alternative compared to where you are right now. That's why you're fapping. So when you tell yourself, like, holy crap, man, this guy is
Whatever.
always sneezing when I'm fucking talking. Huh?
Nah,
This is
just talk. It's fine. I'm
not
just fine.
fucking insults, but it's basically just always on the pursuit of happiness. Doesn't matter what you do. It may look like something that, oh, I don't take drugs because like it's not gonna make me happy and stuff like that. But dude, you're doing it because it makes you happy in the moment. That's why it's something called instant gratification. And just to really add on to elaborate further on why you would choose like a more gourmet coffee over like a McDonald's coffee or whatever. Same things when it comes to your PC accessories, your setup. I'm always this guy, so I really understand this because whenever Junto will ask me, he'll be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you buying that?" I was like, I can't explain to him because I want to buy it because it just feels better. It just makes me feel much more happier rather than getting the shitter one that looks like trash. So you know what I mean? Like it's the reason why you don't want to buy AirPods and you want to get an AirPods Pro. They're the same shit. Yes, one has more active noise cancelling. You can get a fake one, but you choose to get a real one. Why? Because you just feel better. You can flex on your friends. You have like more lesser insecurity as someone's gonna catch you wearing a fake AirPods. Same fucking analogy. And don't buy fake shit, by the way. If you know what I mean. But keep going, boys.
It's drive to pursue happiness, like what Jamie was talking about. And people would say, as literally what Jamie said, no one would really choose fapping, right? Because it's such destructive behaviors. This is the argument that most people would say, and that's why they say that's why it's involuntary behavior. That's why it's called addiction. Why would anyone want to fap? Why would anyone want to desensitize their dick? Why would anyone want to overdose and kill themselves? Why would anyone want to get catched by their girlfriend? Like, what the fuck are you doing over there? Like, I'm just like, no one wants to do that, right? It's destructive behavior. So what they're trying to really say, if you break down the argument, right, it says that if a behavior or a choice is extremely costly, then it must be involuntary, right? Another way of saying this is that it's impossible for a human being to make an irrational choice. So that if a behavior turns out to be irrational, then it must have been compelled rather than freely chosen. When you state it this way, you can see that it is absolutely absurd. This is fucking bullshit. Does Jamie have any comments?
Well, of course, as always, man. This is just some bullshit for real. Like, yeah, it's basically the fapping analogy. They're always saying like, oh, if fapping was so bad, why would people do it? Because again, we talked about the McDonald's shit because you prefer it at the time, bro. You can tell me now, like, I don't like to fap, bro. I don't fucking chipmunks. Well, I don't know fucking nonsense. Like, I don't want to fap. I hate gaming, bro. But bro, but when the time comes, when you're sitting down, when you're getting to work, your work fucking sucks. You look at the gaming. Come on, that shit. Come on, let's be honest. Not for you, not for me, but for you. You view gaming as a happy alternative. You think that you have to work, but gaming looks more tastier, and that's why you do it, bro. So you have to just put up your hands, fucking have some humility, and say, yeah, I'm doing it because it actually makes me happy, bro. Like, just be honest, because it does. It does temporarily. Because look, right now, if I put you in that situation when you're about to fat, you will not feel shit because you already like had the post-nut clarity. You'll be like, what the fuck is this? You will already see that it will not make you happy. But back then you didn't see it. And that's what I'm trying to tell you right now. So just keep going, but this is some McDonald's stuff.
So it's as usual. It is not odd for people to pay a high price for the things and activities they believe will make them happy. So this is a very simple example. Cost of a big house versus a modest apartment. Big houses, they are huge as fuck. They have so much, you cost so much. You need to get maids to clean the house. It's huge as
I think the
fuck.
better I think the better analogy for those viewers watching this is just like a Lamborghini. Like truly, like a Lamborghini compared to like a fucking what's the cheapest car? A Toyota or some shit, a Nissan.
Yeah.
Right? A Toyota or Nissan. It's true. Why do people want to buy a Lamborghini? Because it's 400 horsepower. No one gives a fuck about 400 horsepower. If they actually give a shit about all those horsepower, they'll be in a racing car, right? In an F1 car, but no one drives that. Why? It's because, like Jonas says, they're paying more just to make them happier. That's why they're willing to pay the price. But Juna, please continue because I'm pretty sure that was a better analogy.
Yeah. But and you contrast that with a fuck this example. Let me continue with Jamie's example.
Yeah.
So a Ferrari, right? If you buy a Ferrari, it probably costs like $1 million, for example.
I don't
And
think it costs $1 million, but
yeah, fuck it, $500,000, whatever. So Lamborghini costs $500,000. A Toyota probably costs
like 10,000. I don't even know.
$10,000. All right. So Toyota, maybe the fucking fuel only costs like $50 a month. But a
It's
Ferrari
cheaper.
is
Yeah,
maybe it's
actually cheaper.
$500 a month. I don't know.
Yeah,
So if you look at it this way, like let's say the society looks at these car ownerships versus, I mean, Toyota ownership versus Ferrari ownership in the same way that they view heavy substance use, then everyone will be calling the fucking guy who buys the Ferrari. They'll say that the Ferrari guy is diseased. He's sick. He has some underlying issues of stress, anxiety, and depression that caused him to seek comfort in a big red flat floor car rather than a Toyota or some shit. So people's preference for substance use literally are not no different. They have their own perspective on the benefits of substance use, and they'll pay whatever the price it is to get those benefits if they think it is the option that best serves them. The PDP, the positive drive principle, is how we sum up this whole fact.
As always, I already got something to add on, boys. Please go
Yeah.
back to the previous slide.
Nice.
But just to elaborate on this more further, it's crazy because I mean it's kind of crazy to put the Ferrari owners and like drug addicts side by side, but it's pretty much the same. You guys are paying a much higher price, and obviously we like to talk about the price, paying the price of this. Price doesn't have to be monetary value, right? Price could be your time, your effort. So if you say that those Ferrari people are crazy, because the truth is, getting a Ferrari is no different from getting like a Nissan. Literally, they both get you to the same destination. There's no such thing as a Ferrari driving faster or whatever. There's no such thing because there's speed limit. So you guys will reach there at pretty much the same time. It doesn't fucking matter. It just makes you look more cooler. So in theory, if you look at it in the way like how you view addicts, right? You'll be like, the Ferrari guy is fucking crazy. He's paying such a high price. He has fucking mental illnesses. But you view addictions the same way. So that's something to just think about, because if you're just gonna call those addicts like, oh, they're fucking crazy, they're doing all that stuff, then why not you call the Ferrari guys the same? Because they're paying a higher price, just like addicts do, for something that doesn't even give them shit, right? In fact, it fucking drains their bank account even further, like what Juna says. Fuel is more expensive. You need to service your car and stuff like that. It's more expensive. So why would they do that, right? Then why not you call those Ferrari guys insane because they're wasting money? Why would you do that? You have mental illnesses. Why? So you need to start looking in this kind of mindset, because this really reframes everything. You really start seeing it like, oh, it's not even like a fucking Ferrari issue. It's not even the addicts issue. It's the price issue. You know what I mean? So it's actually insane, bro. Keep going. There's some TED Talks type stuff.
Jamie already talked about this happier option. You choose what you see as the happier option. So, a politician voting example. So, let's say you want to go vote for someone, but one guy is, I'm not gonna go through the politician shit, but one guy is a big guy, the other guy is a skinny guy. So
Oh shit.
huh?
We know who they are, bro. Keep going.
But so this big guy and the small guy, they're both crooks, right? So that's why you complain. You're like, bruh, these two guys, they will take the money away from us, USA or whatever crap. And, but for some reason, you still go to the voting center and you're like, yep, I go for the big one. Why did you go for the big one? When they're both crooks, when you can list out all the reasons like, yeah, the big one, he's And so so
Some
you
Mexico
choose
shit. Some Mexico shit, but keep going.
you choose the better one because you feel that it will make you happier than abstaining
Mm,
from voting, right?
mm,
So what that means, it doesn't mean that every choice you make is fantastic. It doesn't mean that the choices you make will not come with high costs. Like that the guy when he won, I mean, you know what the hell happened, but that you wish you didn't have to pay, right? It doesn't mean you will not regret those choices later, and it doesn't mean they are your ideal choices. It simply just means that out of all the available options, which only had the skinny and the fat one, you just chose the big one because the big one gives you more benefits if he wins somehow. So those choices are just better according to your own judgment. They are the happier options, not happy options, happier options. And it's the same for porn, gaming, anime, manga, light novel, web, they're all the same thing. You choose them only because compared to all the other options you have in life, like if your life, you sit down and you're like, I don't have any hobbies at all. And you just see like a gaming controller, you're like, yeah, compared to all the other options you have in life, which is study or gaming, who the fuck will not game? Right? If you only can do two things, you want a game because compared to all the other options you have in life, it's just boring as fuck. So that's why you just choose gaming. Jimmy, anything?
I mean, I pretty much said it already in the previous slide, but
Yeah, you
yeah,
did.
that's true. Honestly, you would just pick the better option, right? Like what Junta says, the gaming and studying shit is facts. And you're basically putting yourself in a situation every single day. So instead of viewing like, oh, I'm addicted, I have no choice, look at your environment, bro. You know? So that's pretty much it.
So people who get badly hungover, they simply just look at it as a poor choice. They do not feel addicted. When heavy substance use becomes a pattern of regularity, then yeah, you'll feel like you're out of control. When you suddenly fat once a week, suddenly you become fapping 3 times a week, suddenly 7 times a week, you're like, whoa, something's wrong, out of control. And they look back and they feel like they didn't choose it. They are not the one that they didn't choose it. It suddenly became a habit. They suddenly any kind of thinking or deliberation happens less often because before you jump into the habitual choice of fapping. But that does not mean that desire is not a result of deliberation or thinking. This deliberation, this thinking of you of wanting to fap happened on an earlier date, and you concluded that in such and such circumstances, for example, when I'm stressed during this time and this situation in my house, I will fap because that is what will make me the happiest. This substance of yours is what will make you the happiest. So the repetition of acting and reaching this conclusion turns it into a belief that doing this substance at this situation is the happier option or preference. For example, stress or boredom, like what I already said. So sometimes there's quite a bit of thinking, that happens before you do these same regretful habitual choice. You tell yourself, I won't tap again. I will lose my money. I'll lose my girlfriend. I'll lose this and that. But for some reason, you still make the same decision and you still fap anyways, even though you already told yourself you will lose your girlfriend if you fap, but you still fap. And it makes you confused because you're like, what the fuck? It costs so much. It's so irrational. Why would I do it? Look, the issue is this. I do not want you to forget it. When you're looking at the cost, what you fail to do is thinking about the benefits of your various options. You have forgotten to think that you basically only look at the cost and you never looked at the happiness. You never thought that, oh, fapping will actually feel good. Sure, you lose your girlfriend, but you feel good at that time. You're doing it for your happiness. So even though you keep telling yourself, I think we talked about it in chapter 2, but if if you still want to do something, you will still do it. No matter what blocker you do, no matter how many times you tell yourself, I don't want to do it, it's gonna make me lose my girlfriend, it's gonna what, you will still do it. So stop trying to tip the scales based on fear by focusing on costs and tip the scales of happiness of the perceived benefits. The perceived benefits is gonna motivate you to make new choices. So if you see yourself that if I don't fap now, today, this week, I'll still be my girlfriend. And if I'm with my girlfriend, I'll be happy. I would be able to go to school with her sitting down rather than being alone in the corner. I will have a girl with me, beside me. I get to eat with her. I get to play with her, have fun with her, maybe touch some things sometimes, all that stuff. It'll make you happy.
Junta knows
So,
what things, but
yeah.
wait, I want to touch on that a little bit more. Yeah, that's actually true when it comes to addicts, honestly. Um, People only look at the cons. Always, right? When it comes to vaping, do you ever think of the benefits? You don't think about the benefits. You always think of the cons, like, oh, this, that, oh, my dick's gonna be like this. But But again, what you fail to fucking reassess is the benefits of the very option. When you start thinking about those wholesome thoughts, like if I don't fat, I can chill my girlfriend, I can actually have some real sex, I can grab some, you know what I mean? You think of those fucking great stuff. That's when like it's much more easier. You start seeing purpose instead of seeing some negativity and stuff like that. But please continue.
Outcomes don't reverse motives. I would never choose for things to end badly. This choice ended badly. Therefore, I didn't really make this choice. I didn't Jamie talked about this. And it was driven by happiness. People think that when they look back to why they did, they think that I'm not happy now. So it definitely wasn't driven by happiness. I think Jamie she talked about this. This would be like saying that after a sports loss that the team didn't want to win the game, or Google made a new product and it failed. And you say that, oh yeah, Google didn't want to make the product win. They didn't want to make money at all. They wanted it to fail. That's like saying that. So bad things happen even when you intend for the best. Just because you do not like the consequences of your substance use now does not mean that you were not pursuing happiness when you chose to use. So you might be asking, what about using substance as escape? They say that substance users are not using it for pleasure. They're using it to simply deal with depression or to feel normal. But averting pain is a form of happiness. Are you not happier without pain than you are with pain? So this is something that really surprised my ass. I don't think so. It surprised Jamie, but it really surprised me. People even work towards happiness in depression. Depression, as researcher Martin blah 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 said, is caused by the belief that your actions will be futile. Depressed people believe they're powerless to change their purposes, so they believe their efforts won't make anything better. So as they continue to believe this, they increasingly withdraw from life until they will not even get out of the bed. So severely depressed people's inaction, literally not leaving their bed, is a choice they make to ensure they do not even sink any lower. They make this choice to avoid beating themselves up for later for trying and failing. So even in this deep suffering of theirs, their avoidance of deep suffering, they're pursuing happiness. In this hanging on, they are literally pursuing happiness. So why is recognizing the pursuit of happiness so important? Why am I fucking talking about this shit for so long? Because when you spend every waking moment working on recovery, trying to avoid triggers, trying to make sure you don't accidentally see a peach or some shit, but something keeps nagging at you, the desire to use porn or whatever substance you're using keeps popping into your mind. You feel deprived. It's a preference that you build and that you have not changed because you skip right over it and you started fighting a non-existent disease because those guys on YouTube, those guys on Reddit, the NoFap forums and all that, they tell you, you must fight something. What are you fighting? You're fighting nothing. You're fighting something that doesn't exist. It's like what I talked about in chapter 2. You are getting cancer when you don't even have, you're getting cancer treatment when you don't even have cancer. So trying to increase self-control or solve the problem through nutritional supplements, diets, yoga, meditation, working out, trigger avoidance support, I don't know. They all miss the point. They're all sort of actions trying to distract you from the real problem. All these theories, they focus on battling the imagined cause of substance use. And as I said, in fact, there is no causes to battle. There are only reasons within your mind. And you just have to literally make a damn choice. Sit down. And I'll talk more about it in different modules, in the later modules, but you just literally have to make a choice. You sit down and actually logically think if I stop fapping, if I stop gaming, oh yeah, I will get these benefits. I will have more time for hobbies. I will have more time for piano. I'll be able to actually fight. I won't be able to fight, and then suddenly I'm walking, and suddenly my leg suddenly falls down. Like, what the hell's going on? And then my father looks behind, and he tells me, "Oh, I see. So you fap today, huh? How the fuck do you know? You don't want things like that to happen." So determining whether your current substance use makes you happy enough, or you'll be happy with some level of change, is everything. Once you arrive at the conclusion that your former style of substance use is not your happiest available option anymore, your desire, the so-called cravings, will literally just melt away. That's why understanding the PDP, positive drive principle, is so important. Once you accept that your behavior is in pursuit of happiness, you can just move on with discovering what you will actually make you the happiest. Quick CD, click next module right now. I shall see you there.